Now this is a real GOAT story right here. I never heard this exact story about Michael Jordan with all these details and so on. You're going to want to stay for this. Do you guys remember the 1995 NBA playoff series where Michael Jordan came back after losing his father and playing baseball for 2 years with a baseball conditioned body and got beaten by the Orlando Magic with Shaq, Penny, Nick Anderson, Grant, and Dennis Scott? I know Bron fans do because they love using that loss in their arguments. I heard parts of this story from Pippen. I heard parts of this story from Horace Grant at one time. There was an interview, that might have been from The Last Dance, I don't remember. But there was another player on that Orlando Magic team. He was a rookie at the time and wasn't on the playoff squad that beat MJ in 1995 or the one in 1996. But he was a Magic player. In the regular season, he played, so he was close to all that stuff. He was on the bench when all that stuff was happening. Now, the story he describes is one of the best MJ stories I have heard, and it's epic, in my opinion. You're going to have to hear this for yourself, so I'm going to play Darryl Armstrong's comments for you. So listen up, and I'll be right back. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is The Basketball Show, where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, and more. All completely unbiased, even though some people disagree, because any opposing opinion to weak people is always hating. Truth is truth, and I try to stand by that. Here's Darryl Armstrong.
That was the same year Michael Jordan came back.
Yeah.
That was when he came back. I think he came back. He was in 20 games into coming back when I got there. And like I said, I played the last 14. And then we end up, the crazy part, because playoffs now and injuries, rosters, it's changed big time. Because back in the day when I played, if you was injured, once you went on that roster,
You stuck.
on the injury list, you stayed on for 5 games.
Yeah.
No matter who got hurt, you got
Yeah.
hurt, still can't bring them out for 5 games. No, it changes every night now.
Yeah.
In the playoff, in not the playoff, but the regular season and the playoffs.
Yeah.
So every night, the injury list can change. So in case you get hurt, now I can still, I can come off the injury list. But not back in the day, you had to do 5 games. So I never forget, once the playoff starts, once your roster is set, it's set.
Yeah.
You can't change it throughout the playoffs.
You can't change it.
It's
Yeah.
set. So we beat Boston. That's the first time Boston Garden gets shut down. Orlando shut it down in the playoffs. I think we swept them that year. Game, second round, we play Michael Jordan there.
Yeah.
That's when Nick Anderson
Stole the ball.
stole the ball.
Yeah.
To this day, until I saw what was the what you call it?
Last Dance?
Last Dance, I did not know Nick Anderson said
He wasn't the same.
45 is not 23. Oh Lord, I would have said, man, y'all, you don't shut the fuck up. What is you doing? You don't get this man no field. What is you doing? So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I say, so game
All that
2.
time you never knew
No,
that?
never knew it. Never knew it. Because I was newcomer still.
Yeah.
So game 2, never forget. I say, I was always a Michael Jordan fan. Game 2, he comes out, keeps his top on, got his pants off, shorts on, and then they do the announcement.
Took that shit out, had that 23 on.
They did the announcement. He said, wearing number 45, Michael Jordan. Yeah, crowd go crazy. You know, we at home, but it sounded like we in Chicago because of him. So he kept his top on. Boy, both teams broke out of the huddles. Coming to the court, that took out that damn thing. I saw 2-3. I said, oh, Lord, we in trouble. Superman's in the building, back cat, whatever you want to call him, Jesus. We in trouble tonight. So they ended up winning game. They won game 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. When I saw that 2-3, I was like, ooh.
Like, time out, this is what I want to know, because you know how, we all know how it is in the league, and especially in that position, like where you like, I ain't playing like, what was the chatter at the end of the bench? Like, oh, shit.
I don't know. I just know I was excited. I don't know what they were saying.
I'm ready to watch this shit.
Because I was sitting there like, I ain't got to guard him. Like, y'all got to guard him. Good luck.
I'm about to see some shit.
Remember Bernie Mac saying, "You're doing a good job. Keep up the good luck. Good luck." So they end up beating us.
Yeah.
So the rest of the time, this was the crazy part. Every time he wore that number, they got fined $200,000.
Yeah.
Because you got to have that.
Yeah,
You got to have
supposed to do all
the
that
number
shit ahead of time.
Like January, you got to. That's what you got. So they got fined $200,000, which he's making that every time he play. Anyway, ching ching. That jump man was making that money anyway. He got that. So we beat him in I think game 3, or they beat us. I'm not for sure, but we ended up winning 4-2 on their court. That was the first time Horace Grant left Chicago.
Yeah, y'all carried him off the court. I remember all that shit. I remember all that bullshit.
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't like that shit.
Boy, they say Jordan's trainer like, when you want to start? He said tomorrow, lifting weights. And he said all he kept thinking was Orlando. Man, they played us there was Shaq last time in Orlando. They played us, they swept us. But I never forget this, and you can go back and look at the stat sheet. And they were they was fucking with Horace Grant. Horace couldn't do nothing, put his head down and just laugh. It was on the free throw line right in front of us. Jordan, Scotty was talking shit. Boy, Jordan had 2 free throws at the end of the game. He hit the first one and missed the second one on purpose. And we was like, what the fuck you doing, Somebody said, look at the scoreboard. He left 45 on the scoreboard. Jordan petty in a motherfucker. He left 45 for last year on the scoreboard. Go back and look at game 4. Stat sheet. You can Google that.
Now, damn. Now, some of this stuff I knew. I knew about the jersey change and stuff like that because I was watching that series as it played out in 1995 live. But all the other details with the ending and the amount of points and shot attempts, it's insane to me. I never looked that deep into it. Now, for MJ to be that focused, to want to put it to the Orlando Magic so bad, to make sure the numbers were exactly what they were, is awesome. That's a storybook ending right there. And we know MJ had many storybook endings. Now, the 94 playoff loss by MJ isn't that big of a story to me. You look at Mike before he left in 93 playoffs, and then you look at him in the 1996 playoffs, and by his game and performance, you can easily see that in 95, Jordan just wasn't in basketball shape and still performed awesome. Mike didn't have the explosiveness that he normally had and got just worn out. His legs and basketball conditioning wasn't there. As you can see by him averaging 4.1 turnovers in that 1995 series, while averaging 2.4 turnovers in 93 and 2.3 turnovers in 1996. His overall body control and all that just wasn't there because he was not in basketball shape. You can say whatever you want, but MJ was not in top basketball shape. The guy still averaged 31 points in 95 anyway, in the playoffs. I mean, he was insane either way. Now, what Mike did in 1996 against Orlando and how the Bulls simply annihilated them was amazing to watch. That was one of the best revenge and payback stories I have ever heard and ever witnessed, and it was awesome to watch live in 96. In 96, Mike was on a mission. He played this whole Orlando series during the sweep within the team compounds, but that game 4 was a statement game for him, and he wanted to make sure he made that statement. Damn, he really led to Shaq leaving Orlando to go to the Lakers. The Magic fell apart after that ass kicking, and as we know, the Bulls went on to win the NBA title against the Sonics, who had a 64-18 record that season and were second behind the Bulls in defense. The Sonics were a fast-playing team as they were third overall in pace to the Bulls being 20th in the NBA at pace. Now, this is one of the many stories like this about Mike, and he would not give up, he would not fold and leave his hometown of Chicago. He simply didn't have that kind of mentality to leave and quit. In his mind, he had unfinished business and he had to take care of it. Mike was just different, and this story explains it perfectly. Did you guys know about this story and all its details? You might have probably known about some of it. I personally never knew about the details with the points in the shot attempts. Now let me know and make sure to check out these videos right here. See you soon in another video.